Alright guys, Red here. Welcome to the very first episode of a new series we're going to be starting called SCETI, which stands for the Star Citizen Environment Testing Initiative. Today we're going to be figuring out what is the very fastest way to stop your ship. And to do that we're going to be running a series of tests, using the different methods of deceleration and marking down the times and distances, etc. So here's how it's going to work. I'm basically going to get in this Cutlass Black and I'm going to accelerate to full speed, and then I'm going to decouple my ship. When I reach the 107 kilometer mark from the station, there's a pair of gates. At that point I will start decelerating. First we're going to just use reverse thrust, then the next time it's going to be just a brake, the normal brake, not the space brake uses boost brake, then reverse thrust plus boost, then brake plus boost, then we'll turn on the space brake uses boost and try that, and then we're going to try a couple of things using Vito plus brake, Vito plus vertical thrust, Vito plus vertical thrust plus boost, etc. You get the idea anyway. Then we're going to take all that info and see which one allowed us to stop in the shortest amount of time. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly run through one. I'm decoupled, I'm running full speed, we're just coming up to the gate here. When I get to the gate, I'm going to slam on the brake, just the brake, nothing else, and just see how long it takes. Obviously just the brake and just reverse thrust. We aren't expecting them to be very fast, but it should give us an indication of just how effective they are versus using boost. Because if there isn't a massive amount of difference, then we might like to switch our playstyle around so that we're not using as much fuel, or it just gives us a better insight into what works and what doesn't. And it took 19.2 kilometer and 34 seconds, which means we were decelerating at around 32.7 kilometer per hour per second. I'm just going to quickly start speeding through these now. Next up was reverse thrust plus boost, and here we started to really see a change. Not only did we stop in 10.5 kilometers, but it also took us 18.5 seconds, which means our braking speed was around 60.2 kilometers per hour per second. Next one was brake plus boost, which came in around about the same. Next up we enabled the space brake engages boost in the options menu, and we got a similar time, although it was slightly slower by almost 2 seconds. Okay, next up is VTOL plus brake. Now this is where things started to get pretty complicated, and it was mainly a visibility issue. When I turn away from the station, the distance information disappears, even though I'm still locked on. So not only could I not see the gates coming, but I couldn't judge when to start braking based on the distance either. So we had to change up how we were going to test this one, and I'm afraid to say it's definitely not as clean as the other methods. Basically I had to eyeball when I stopped moving using a third person camera, and when I passed the gate I would turn coupled back on. This was because VTOL both had a tendency to make me drift forward, and it slows down that fast that I would be moving away again before I had the chance to even realise we had reached a full stop. So enabling coupled averted that. There was a lot of testing, a lot of failed runs, but eventually we got something that I'm pretty happy with. Basically I just needed the ship to stop dead so that I could reorient and check the distance against the station lock. You'll see what I mean. It's not the greatest, but using the background objects I was pretty easily able to judge when we had reached a full stop. And as you will have noticed, the difference in slowdown is absolutely insane. We came to a dead stop within 3.5 kilometers in 8 seconds. So the fastest one we've had yet by a rather big margin. This one, however, is VTOL plus upward thrust, and it stopped us in just 6 seconds for the same amount of distance. None of that matters, however, because up next we have VTOL plus vertical thrust plus boost, which manages to stop us in a staggering 1.5 kilometers in 3 seconds. That's an average deceleration of 371 kilometers per hour every second. I mean, I knew this one was going to be fast, but that's ridiculous. The very last one is Vito plus boosted space brake, and it came in at 4 seconds and 2.7 kilometers. So pretty close, it's pretty close. But I suppose the main question is, how does all this compare to a full flipping burn? And by that I mean flipping the ship a complete 180 and forward thrusting plus boost. Well, this is the surprising thing. We tested it out, and a full flipping burn takes 7 seconds and 4.4 kilometers. So the winner, by almost double, was Vito plus vertical thrust plus boost. So now you know, when you absolutely have to do that emergency brake, you're going to want to hit those Vitos. Now I can hear a lot of you asking, okay Red, but what if I don't have any of those fancy VTOLs? Will hitting VTOLs even make a difference for me in my 325A, for example? The answer is no, not even a little bit. Your best chance would probably be the full flipping burn. I also get the feeling that not every ship is the same. Obviously some more testing is required, but going by design alone, there is some pretty hefty front thrusters on some of the ships in the game. For example, the Vanguard series looks like it could possibly brake really fast while still facing forward. But that's going to have to be a topic for another video. If you have any ideas what you'd like to see in this series, and it doesn't have to be serious all the time, it can be, I don't know, how many players will a tank shell pass through, for example, then please let me know in the comments. That's all for this video. Remember, like and subscribe. Remember, there's a Patreon. We just recently made YouTube partner, so I don't know if I've got around to putting those options up yet, but there should be memberships, etc. So maybe check them out. And thanks for watching. All 7 guys.